Hey guys, what's up? This is Dingo Crikey here with another commentary video, this time discussing news on the Transformers Generations toy line. If you are interested in more news and commentary on Transformers Generations, Transformers 5, or the upcoming Transformers Robots in Disguise cartoon, then check out my playlist and channel where you can also find over 20 of my Transformers stop motion videos, some of which are previewed here. But in this video, I'm going to be discussing the recently released images of the Transformers Generation figures that were revealed at Toy Fair 2015. So obviously, it's always an exciting time for Transformers fans when there's one of these big conventions. I could be wrong about this, but I believe it was last year at around this time that the Transformers Age of Extinction figures were revealed, which is pretty hard to believe that it was that long ago. But this year we have big revelations for the Generations line and also for the Robots in Disguise toy line. In this video I'm going to be focusing entirely on the figures that were revealed for the Generations line. I'll probably cover the Robots in Disguise figures in another video, although there wasn't nearly as much that I consider worthy of coverage as far as Robots in Disguise go, but there were a lot of exciting revelations for the Generations toy line. There were pictures posted on Transformers World 2005 that were actually taken at the convention, but I'm going to be looking at and discussing the Hasbro released images in particular, and I'll leave a few links below if you're interested in looking at the actual images from the Toy Fair. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started. I decided to start with the Protectobots, as I believe they are going to comprise the third wave of the Deluxe and Voyager class figures, so I figured why not start with them. And first off of the Protectobots, we obviously have Deluxe class Blades, who is, to no surprise, a repaint of Deluxe Class Alpha Bravo, and it looks like he might have some slight remolding. I don't own the Alpha Bravo figure yet, so I can't say for sure, but it looks like the tail of the helicopter might be different, along with maybe some molding on the arms. Can't tell for sure though. And obviously the head sculpt, which is definitely cool that they gave him a different one. And all in all, there's not a whole lot to say about this guy, being that he is a repaint. We've already seen this mold, but he does look pretty cool. So far the aerial bots seem to be solid figures, so I couldn't imagine this guy's going to be bad unless he's super loose or something like that. As far as the color scheme goes, I personally do like Alpha Bravos better, but this guy's will fit better with the Protectobots. It's just the red and the white. It does look kind of bland, but it does work for the character. Normally I would say maybe I would pass on this guy, being that he's a repaint and just an okay one, but being that the Combiner Wars have introduced this whole dynamic of, you know, you kind of feeling like you need to collect them all, I definitely plan on buying this guy. Can't really use the which one looks like it's worth buying or not to determine whether these toys are good. Then we have him in helicopter mode. Not a whole lot to say there. I mean, looks pretty cool. The red color scheme seems to work out well, but still kind of like Alpha Bravo better. Anyways, moving on to the next Protectobot, and that is Deluxe Class First Aid, who is obviously a repaint of Stunticon Off-Road, and overall it does look like it worked out pretty cool for this guy. Now granted, in G1 I remembered him being a little bit skinnier looking than him, but still the arms are pretty skinny. I'm mainly thinking of the chest and the legs on this guy look a little bit bulky for First Aid, but it still looks pretty cool. Granted, the color scheme doesn't look as cool to me as Off-Road's, but I love Off-Road's color scheme. I think it's one of the best we've gotten in a while, so this guy can't really compete in that way. In and of himself, though, really nice color scheme. Maybe could use a little bit more paint apps in the chest area, but looks pretty good. Very consistent color scheme. There's nothing that is really super contrasting in there, but some people like that, so if you do, you'll probably like this guy. Kind of wish they were a little bit more creative with the weapon, but overall, he looks pretty good in robot mode. Then in vehicle mode, he looks really, really nice. I mean, I'm surprised how good this guy, for being a repaint, looks as this vehicle. Red, white, and blue all go together very nicely. Once again, a consistent color scheme. The Autobot symbol also adds a nice touch. Maybe some people wouldn't be happy that it's not centered, but I actually think it looks good. For stuff like insignias, I don't think it always has to be centered or symmetrical, you know. There's something about it that just actually works out good when it's not. But anyways, yeah, it looks good in vehicle mode and in robot mode. Then we have the next Protectobot, which I believe is being called a Legion class these days, and that is Groove. Can't say I'm all that crazy about this guy, and that's not just because he's one of the small classes. There have been a lot of Legion class figures that we've gotten recently that look really, really good. This guy just isn't one of them. He just has a very lanky, kind of odd appearance. He kind of reminds me of one of the Minicons from the team with Highwire, Sure Shock, and Grinder in the Transformers Energon toy line. The color scheme kind of does that too. I mean, the color scheme isn't that bad. It's consistent, but there's nothing that really stands out about it. It does look like he's going to have some decent articulation, at least in the leg area, but other than that, not such a great robot mode. The motorcycle mode does look pretty cool though. Not one of the best motorcycle modes we've ever seen, but it is pretty cool. Definitely kind of reminds me of Cybertron Lugnuts, which had a really good motorcycle mode. And though it looks like some of the things like the kickstand are going to be held in place along with the handlebars, it doesn't really detract from the mode overall. Once again, he's a Legion class figure. It is kind of unfortunate that Groove got the short end of the stick, but he never really was the coolest one of the team, so it's fitting, and I'll probably only be picking this guy up to complete the team. The figure itself isn't really that great. However, quite different opinions about the next Protectobot, and that is Deluxe Class Rook. Really, really liking the looks of this guy. Obviously, he is a new mold, and he simply looks incredible to me. Really, really nice detailing all throughout him. Maybe could use a few more paint apps, but still, color scheme works really nice. It's a color scheme that can work with the other Protectobots, while it isn't the exact same thing. Obviously, he's black and blue rather than just white and red, and it looks really, really nice. He has a nice blocky look, while it looks like he'll still be able to retain some articulation. The wheels in the chest add to that sort of buff appearance, along with the square shoulders. Would be nice to see wrist swivel, but I do gotta say the hand cannons look pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of the fisted hands, but because this guy has that kind of tough beat-em-up appearance, it works out well. That appearance kind of works for this guy because he's obviously more of the police member of the squad, while, you know, First Aid's more of the medic, and you know, probably Alpha Bravo's more of a rescue type. This guy being the police, the bigger guy, that really fits. I like the way the weapon plugs into the one cannon on the arm. That's pretty cool. And yeah, incredible detailing. Looks like a really, really nice mold. Definitely one worth picking up. And same thing I have to say in vehicle mode. Looks really nice, maybe a little bit too much white, but the detailing looks really, really cool. Like 3 wheels on each side. And yeah, he looks like a very, very cool figure from this wave. Then we have Deluxe Class Streetwise. This guy was always kind of my favorite out of this team. Don't really know why, but it definitely looks like they did a nice job on him. You know, he does kind of have a basic Combiner Wars build, but it works out nice for him. The detailing looks really cool. To me, this guy looks like he has a good amount of color variation too. I can't really see too many places where it looks like they could have added more paint. It all works out pretty well for him. He has a nice variety of colors. Really finely detailed head sculpt. It looks really good. A lot of these head sculpts that the Generation line has been coming up with lately, especially in the Combiner Wars, just have gorgeous detailing. I really, really, really like them. And this guy's definitely no exception. Kind of with First Aid though, he looks a little bit bulkier than I would originally picture Streetwise, but he is a police guy, so that kind of makes sense. Though I did always picture him to be like one of the skinnier cops who usually was better with a gun, but you know, that's probably my own imagination. I do really, really like the way his gun looks, kind of like somewhat of a shotgun, I guess. Looks really cool. So not too much negative I have to say about him in robot mode. In vehicle mode, he also looks really, really nice. Definitely kind of reminiscent of Lamborghinis like we've seen with Lockdown and Age of Extinction and Sunstreaker all the way back in the Universe 2.0 line, but he has some unique traits of his own, some nice detailing that helps give him more personality, make him look more police-ish, I guess. I like the vents on the hood of the car, some of the details on the back there, and yeah, he looks great in both modes. I like how within the team you can kind of split it down into Rook and Streetwise, and then Blades and first aid. While they do still look really nice as a team, it's cooler having those subgroups. And then we finish off the Protectobots with Voyager class Hotspot. And I've got to say, for the Voyager class figures that have appeared in the Generation Combiner Wars line so far, this guy looks like the best out of them. I mean, the mold alone looks really cool. It looks like he'll have some nice articulation, knee articulation in the legs, upper legs. He'll be able to swivel, and then obviously in the arms he's going to have some. Also, no wrist swivel here. That seems to be something they're kind of doing away with now. That's kind of a shame, but anyways, other than that, he looks really, really cool. Very, very nice detailing. I like the way it looks in the chest, almost like that red piece over top. Yeah, it looks like it'll be able to flip down. It's even more detailed under there, maybe with some chrome. That looks pretty cool. He's very reminiscent of his G1 counterpart. That looks nice. I like the dueling guns. And the pipe detailing on them is pretty cool too. A lot of the detailing they've been putting into these recent figures is really, really cool to me. I like what they're doing with a lot of these guys. Head sculpt's kind of basic, but it definitely is really nice. And the color scheme is just spot on. Just great looking. Really, really like the way the light blue works with the red and the black. It couldn't have asked for better in that area. Then the vehicle mode, it's okay. I mean, it works for him. It definitely fits, but I'm not a big fan of these longer rolling vehicles. Just not my thing. It does look kind of cool. I like the guns in the back. And while I'm not a big fan of this mode, the robot mode definitely makes up for it. It's not necessarily bad. It's just these modes aren't really that great to me. After seeing this mode, however, I can definitely predict that it's very possible we would see a repaint of this mold used for Onslaught. I didn't think they were going to be doing Bruticus. They still might not do him, but this guy definitely looks like he would fill the bill for Onslaught pretty well. Then, finishing up the Protectobots, we obviously have their combined form of Defensor. This thing looks pretty cool overall. I'm not sure if I think it looks better than Superion or Menazor. I know a lot of people have that opinion. Personally, I have a few problems with this guy, but still he looks pretty cool. I really like the head sculpt. He has a lot of nice detailing, especially in the body area and the upper legs. It looks really, really cool. I think I like the way that chest piece works, groove. Seems to work out pretty well there. My main problems with this guy are kind of in the mid arms. I'm not sure I like the way the upper legs of the individual robots work in the arm section. I mean, it is something different, but I'm just not a big fan of it. Looks a little bit disjointed. Legs look very cool, really solid, but that of course is usually a good thing. Like the feet design, hands, pretty much the same thing as Superion, but they look pretty cool. Looks like he's going to have a nice weapon there too. So I would say this guy looks pretty cool, but I think the sum of his parts generally look better, especially figures like Hotspot and Streetwise. But still, this guy looks pretty cool. I believe there's a third-party version of this character being made, and while I can't speak on my thoughts on the sum of the parts for that guy, as I haven't really seen them, I do think the combined form looks cooler, looks a little bit more like what I'm used to seeing for Defensor. This guy just has a little bit of a, I don't know, off-balance look to me. I picture Defensor looking more burly than this. This guy, he has it in the legs, but in the arms, they don't look right to me. So he looks pretty cool. The guys who make him up definitely look really cool, but just okay as far as the combined form goes. So let's go to the next, and that is Voyager class Cyclonus. I had heard the rumors that we were going to be getting another Cyclonus figure. Wasn't really sure if they were true or not, but it looks like we did. And I didn't notice it initially, but he is a repaint of Voyager class Silverbolt, obviously with some remolding for the head sculpt, and it looks like he's done pretty well. This mold seems to work out fairly well for Cyclonus. Some of the things look kind of awkward, as were present with the original mold, like the large forearms, but I guess you're going to get that because he's a combiner. Kind of wish they would have changed up his weapon a little bit, but the gun does work pretty well for Cyclonus, so I'm not complaining there. And the color scheme looks really nice on the mold. It looks like they gave him some nice paint apps to fit Cyclonus's character, and overall the color scheme looks really nice. Other thing is the head sculpt. I like the previous Universe 2.0's head sculpt better. I wish the horns or rabbit ears, whatever you want to call them, were painted silver, but it still doesn't look that bad. Other than that, my problems are just kind of with this original mold. Not a bad mold, but it has some problems. Still, definitely looks like a cool figure. And the jet mode also looks really cool. Like the remolding they done to fit Cyclonus rather than Silverbolt. It looks really, really cool. Looks like it's going to be kind of bottom heavy, but I think we're about used to that by now. Both modes look pretty cool. What I'm really curious about with this figure, though, is the supposed robot that he's going to build, and that is called Galvatronus, I believe. And that's a really weird one. Not something we really hear every day. If he's a character in the comics or something like that, you guys can let me know. But what I'm assuming this guy is going to be is basically the Decepticon equivalent to the aerial bots. Kind of like what we're probably going to see with an Autobot version of Manazar, composed of characters like Ultra Magnus, Rodimus, Sunstreaker, etc. Which I think it's good that they're doing sort of these untraditional combiners for the repaints rather than having characters such as Computron or the Cyclonus just taken up by repaints. I mean, some people might be a little upset that they're just making Galvatronus and Mirage a repaint of Dragstrip, but I think this is all in all for the better. A lot of those characters already have good figures, so I'm not really complaining, and it should be cool to see what we get here. Next, we skip over to the 1 liter class that was revealed at the Toy Fair, and that is Ultra Magnus. One word for this guy, wow. I mean, whoa, this looks really, really spot on to his G1 counterpart, and also looks like a really nice figure in itself. There's just so much good going for this figure. I would already say this looks like the best Ultra Magnus we've had in a while, at least the best of the official releases. And we've had some good Ultra Magnus figures, so that's saying a lot. The detailing on this guy looks really, really nice. I mean, just nice, fine detailing, looks unique. You know, it's different details than we see with some of the other characters. And it is somewhat different from what he looked like in Generation 1, but I think it's in a good way, and it still brings out that character. Really, really nice detailing. The color scheme looks great. I even like the little bit of the yellow they give him around the hip area. Some people might not like that, but I think it adds a contrasting additional color that works out pretty well. Also, it looks like he's going to have some good articulation. Pretty much the basic stuff, but it looks good for him. I'll be curious to see if he has wrist swivel or not. Now, some of the other images also made it look as if he's going to have finger articulation, so that would be pretty cool. His proportions all look really nice. He has a tough guy look, but not too brawny, you know, kind of what we'd expect for Ultra Magnus. I can say the forearms look a little big to me, and that throws it off a bit, but, you know, it's easily something I could overlook. The head sculpt looks perfect. There's a lot of character in there. I really like the design. Looks very Ultra Magnus-ish, and pretty much everything about this figure, other than a few little things, really, really nice. And vehicle mode as well looks awesome. I love all the weapons he has, how he kind of has that white Optimus in front, even though he's probably not going to have that in the actual leader class figure. It is cool that they included it, as some of the recent Ultra Magnuses haven't had that. They probably aren't supposed to be a guy in the exosuit anyways, but I'll be curious to see if smaller car transformers can fit in the middle, if he can transport them. That would be pretty cool. If he couldn't, that would kind of detract from the figure, but he looks really nice in both modes. Really, really cool vehicle. Very unique one, too. We don't see vehicle modes that look like this a whole lot. So, I'd go as far as to say this guy looks like one of the best revealed at Toy Fair so far, possibly the best. So, he's definitely one worth buying, in my opinion. Then we have his tiny partner, Minimus Ambus. Not too much to say about this guy. I mean, I guess his color scheme's kind of cool. Not really sure what the point of it is, though. It kind of looks like Brainstorm's Headmaster, but I don't think this guy is going to really have a purpose. Even in vehicle mode, just kind of okay. I would say below that, not even really a cool vehicle. I don't know if he's going to have wheels, if he's just a little hovercraft, so I don't really know what the point is of this guy. Anyways, he's coming along with Ultra Magnus, so guess I'm going to have to get him. Next, move on to the Legion class figures. Now, we've already done Groove as part of the Protectobots, so out of the two remaining ones, one of them is a repaint of Power Glide called Viper. Yeah, this guy looks pretty cool. Like some of the remolding they've done. The paint job looks really, really nice. Wouldn't mind seeing a deluxe figure in this color scheme as well. And I must say that I'm not usually a fan of Legion and Legend class figures, but this Combiner Wars line has kind of changed my opinion. I mean, obviously we're going to have them merging with some of the bigger figures, so that's more incentive, but ones like this guy look pretty cool. So it looks like he's going to have cool articulation, it has a nice design, has personality, really, really cool symbol on the chest, so a lot going for him. Probably could use more paint apps, but for a small figure, he looks pretty cool in robot mode, and then his plain mode also looks pretty cool. Not too much to say there, but it does look cool. And then we have some images of him in, I guess it's going to be a weapon form. Looks like his thrusters are going to be like cannons, and then some missiles underneath his arms. And, you know, there's another image of him in weapon form. So, yeah, that looks kind of cool. Then we have Legion class Warpath. This guy, I believe, is a repaint of a previous Megatron Legion class figure. And he does look pretty cool. He has some nice paint detailing, more than Viper had. The gun looks kind of cool. Head sculpt, it looks like the best they could do for a small one. I like the chest design. The main thing that's throwing me off for this guy is the big hands. I'm just really not a big fan of them. We do have a deluxe class version of Warpath that is much better, so I'm not going to really complain too much, but this guy does look pretty cool, just the big hands are kind of offsetting. Then in tank mode, kind of the same thing, the hands are also screwing it up. Definitely doesn't look as good as the deluxe class figure, but might be worth picking up. So finally we get to what was probably the main event of the toy fair for a lot of people. It certainly was for me, and that is the Constructicon figures. Now, I originally heard that these guys were all going to be Voyager class figures. I'm not 100% sure about that, because they are coming in a pack all together. They don't all quite look like Voyagers as well, so they might be some of those figures that don't really have a class label because, you know, they come in some giant pack. Anyways, enough with the background information. Let's start looking at the individual figures with Bone Crusher. G1 accuracy for this guy is prime. Man, he looks very, very G1 accurate, at least from what I'm remembering. He looks really, really cool. I love the chest detailing. It looks gorgeous, so finely detailed, really, really nice, unique, has a very uniform look. A lot of paint apps on the chest. Unfortunately, it looks like he kind of suffers from the nice paint on the chest with the rest of the body, it being a little bland. Still doesn't look that bad, has a nice color scheme altogether. Once again, we get another Combiner Wars figure with a really, really nice head sculpt. I love the face on this guy, the very blocky head design looks really, really cool. Looks like he's going to have some decent articulation. Once again, no wrist swivel, but he'll be able to bend at the knees, upper legs, elbows, all of that. He has some ball joints going on there. So that all looks pretty cool. The proportions for this guy, I mean, his chest is a little wide and his arms look a tad short. I would say he's probably the second weakest of the Constructicons, but he doesn't look bad. My main beef with him is his gun, which is probably going to form Devastator's forearm. Just really not a big fan of that. Very awkward looking weapon. Reminds me sort of the weapons that the Voyager class figures had in Transformers Prime, though not quite that bad. Those things were horrible. And then his vehicle mode looks great. Only problem I really have with this is that the treads have no coloring on them, not even on the inside. But other than that, really, really nice. I love the detail. The shovel in the front with the Decepticon symbol is really, really cool. Yeah, he looks great in vehicle mode. Just that problem with the treads. Other than that, looks really, really nice. Then we have Hook, a character we have not had since I think Generation 2. Maybe you could correct me on that, but we haven't had this guy in a while, and we definitely don't have him that often. And he looks really, really cool overall. Once again, chest detailing looks fabulous. Just really, really nice. A lot of detail and a lot of paint apps there. We're not always used to seeing a lot of paint apps in the newer figures, but these guys seem to have them. The head sculpt, his forehead's a little big, but other than that, his head sculpt looks nice. Definitely fits in well with the rest of the Constructicons. Articulation, looks like he's going to be one of the most limited of the team. His legs look like they'll have the typical articulation we could expect, but his arms look like they're definitely going to be limited. I would say the main thing I don't like about this guy, the main drawback, is the way his elbows are articulated. It just has a really, really weird look. Now, sometimes stuff like that isn't as bad once you have the figure, at least in my opinion, but not a big fan of that. Looks like he's going to have some articulation issues. But as far as the way he looks really, really great in robot mode. And then in vehicle mode, he also looks very, very nice. Kind of reminds me of Wide Load and Transformers Energon, only much better. Looks really, really nice. The detailing's cool. It looks like the modes worked out pretty well. I kind of wish there was an extension for the crane. Doesn't look like he's going to have that, but other than that, looks really, really cool in vehicle mode. Next, we have the biggest of the Constructicons, and that is Long Haul. Now, from looking at this guy, you could probably tell that he is so far being regarded as the worst of the Constructicons. I would definitely have to concur with that opinion. This guy doesn't look like a horrible figure, but he has a lot going against him. It looks like around the upper leg area, he's going to have some kibble. His arms look like they're going to have very, very limited articulation. They're also kind of weird and flat looking. Then the lower half, like he doesn't even have normal elbow articulation. Kind of funny looking, so you almost want to let it pass. But no, this guy definitely has problems. Sort of looks like a poorly done Energon Demolisher. Like, for being as burly as that figure was, I thought it was a really, really cool figure. This guy definitely has problems. Now, the head sculpt looks nice. He definitely has a personality that you could picture going along with him. So that's pretty cool. He's unique looking, certainly is. And he does have very nice detailing. The front of the truck looks really, really cool. It's nice to see in the area of the headlights that they didn't just paint it all silver, but specifically the round lights are silver and the background's green. That's really cool. Decepticon symbol in the middle there looks nice. Yeah, he looks really nice in regards to detail, but yeah, definitely has problems. Certainly the weakest robot mode out of these guys. Vehicle mode, though, vehicle mode looks pretty cool. It'd be cool if, like, Energon Demolisher had, if he had some kind of a gimmick to be able to, dump dirt or whatever from, I can't think what it's called, the bed of the truck, maybe? I think that's what it is. The vehicle mode doesn't look as good as RTF Long Haul or Energon Demolisher, but still looks like a pretty nice vehicle. The front, once again, looks really, really nice. The big wheels work nice in this mode, and I would say, I can't really say in vehicle mode he's the weakest out of them. I could definitely say he looks better in vehicle mode than in robot mode, so I'll leave Long Haul at that. Then we have Mixmaster. Unlike Long Haul and Bone Crusher, this guy is definitely one of the Constructicons with a lot more purple. With saying that, the color scheme works out really, really nice for him. A mix of silver, purple, Constructicon green, a little bit of yellow. All looks really, really cool. Has some nice detailing in the body. Torso just looks great, very G1-y. Leg articulation looks basic. I mean, what can we expect? Don't really like how it kind of does that look like he doesn't even have feet, but hey, what can you do? Arm articulation does look like an improvement from Hook and, well, definitely Long Haul, but it looks like he's going to have problems in that regard. Still, looks like a really, really cool figure. I like how they added the cannons above his head. Maybe those could have been a little bigger, but they still do look pretty cool. Head sculpt looks really, really nice. I like how it's different from the other Constructicons we've seen, but it still has the look of the rest of them. Kind of like how his forehead looked sort of like a Decepticon symbol. That's pretty cool. So, pretty nice robot mode overall. It has a few flaws, but really nice. And then in vehicle mode, kind of one of the weaker one of these vehicles we've seen in Transformers, but it does have a unique look. I'm wondering if that vehicle's backwards. It probably is. Something about it looks really weird to me. I'm not sure, could be reading that wrong, but you know, my big problem here is it looks like the spinner thing. I can't think of what it's called, but it could have more paint apps. That's kind of my problem. Like, Revenge of the Fallen Mixmaster looked really nice in that area. He had a really nice vehicle mode. This one just looks okay. Like, not that great. I mean, even it's lacking in some paint apps in this mode, which I'd even observed back when all we seen was him as Devastator's leg. So, leave it at that for Mixmaster. Robot mode looks really cool overall outside of a few little problems. Vehicle mode, sort of meh. Next, we have Scavenger. This guy looks really spot on to me. Great, just really, really nice detailing. Has a very unique look to him, kind of like Bone Crusher, but more unique, while still fitting the theme of the rest of Constructicons. Great detailing, really nice paint apps throughout the body. Once again, the legs and the arms could be colored a little bit more, but still, they don't look bad and they have a lot of detail in them. The head sculpt on this guy is just, oh man, it's just so cool looking. Looks so much like that traditional robot kind of look, but it's really, really cool for this guy. I love the head sculpt, once again, fitting in with the rest of the Constructicons. I also like how his arms are kind of longer than the rest of them. It looks like he's, you know, going to be able to do some cool poses, possibly cross his arms. A lot of the stuff is on ball joints, so he should have a good amount of articulation. Yeah, this guy is really, really nice in robot mode. Outside of a few minor articulation things, I can't think of much wrong other than, as with Bone Crusher, the weapon. The weapon's extremely dorky looking, looks very unconventional and not in a good way. So, yeah, I'm sure you could easily take that off and plug in some more fitting weapon. Anyways, vehicle mode also looks great. Just really, really, really cool. Nothing wrong with this vehicle mode that I could see other than maybe a little bit more paint on the treads, kind of going along with his problems in robot mode. Yeah, really, really nice. Very happy with this guy. In my opinion, he looks like the best of the Constructicons. I'm sure some people aren't crazy about this guy, but I'm a big fan of him. And probably my second favorite is the next, and that is Scrapper. Outside of a few minor problems, but I think he makes up for them. Now, those problems kind of go along with his arms. He doesn't look like he's going to have elbow articulation. Initially, that's a pretty big drawback. With saying that, he does have a nice design for his arms. They are kind of flat looking in the upper arms, but the lower arms have a very nice, blocky, I hate to say it again, but G1-ish look. Looks like he's going to have some nice leg articulation and will actually be able to sit down. The backs don't stick out too far. The main thing that appeals to me with this guy, other than we get a Transformer called Scrapper, and that's pretty awesome, is the body design. It looks fabulous, just very unique detailing for this guy. That was the first thing that stood out about him, was just all the chest details. And one of the things I like about him is a lot of times we see like a lot of small little nitty gritty details. The details are sort of big, like those two circle things on his chest that are part of this sort of like panel piece, and then on the opposite side there's something that kind of mirrors that, but it is asymmetrical, has a different design, and I think that's pretty cool how he has that going on, while the rest of him is pretty symmetrical. So I'm a big fan of the body design for this guy. Once again, really nice paint apps, nice detailing. Head sculpt also looks pretty cool. This guy almost looks more like an Autobot in the face, like a really nice guy. So, you know, he looks really cool to me. I'm sure people have their problems with this guy. The arm articulation is probably going to be the biggest one. Hopefully we're wrong about that, but it doesn't look like his elbows are going to be able to bend. Still, looks really, really cool in this mode. And in vehicle mode, also looks nice. Very, very sturdy appearance, just very thick, detailed, a lot of parts going into there. Really like the way the shovel looks. It looks like it's going to have some nice movement too. Main thing here is a little bit of a lack of colors, just a lot of green and some clumps of purple thrown in there. Still looks really cool overall. Both modes for this guy look great, and I would probably say he's my second favorite out of the Constructicons. I might have to think about that a little bit. Anyways, to finish up the discussion of the Constructicons and the entire figures released at Toy Fair, we have Titan Class Devastator, which is obviously, though I doubted at first, the combined form of all of the Constructicons. Now, if you want to hear my full thoughts on this, you can check out my video titled Transformers Generations Titan Class Devastator Revealed. Some of my thoughts are a little bit dated, but overall you can get my thorough opinion there. Still, looking at this guy, looks really cool overall. I mean, he does have a few problems in regards to proportion that seem obvious, but overall looks like a very nice combiner, especially considering he is going to be the biggest combined form we have ever seen. Now, he'll probably have some drawbacks in regards to how big he is and, you know, how you're able to maneuver him and stuff like that. But overall, he looks really cool to me. Very consistent color scheme despite the fact that he's made up of all of these different characters. Head sculpt looks nice, maybe a little small, but it does look pretty cool overall. Really nice detailing, lacking a little bit in the legs, kind of with what I had to say about Mixmaster, but overall, very nice detailing. Really like the look of that chest piece. Consistent color scheme. Not too much wrong to say with this guy. I'm very excited to see what this guy will be like, especially considering his size and all of his components. And I think an important thing to remember with this guy's faults is that, you know, he's like a huge transformer, the first one like this we're going to have that is combined robots. And, you know, something we waited for a while was to have combiners made up of bigger figures. Like I said, I'm not sure if they're going to all be Voyager class, but they definitely are going to be pretty big. We're getting 6 combiners as opposed to the usual 5, so that's pretty cool. And as far as the individual robots, got to take into account that they have to not only form vehicles, but form this guy. So, you know, there's a lot of work on their part, and overall it looks like they did a really nice job to me. I'm very excited about this figure. Probably the most exciting that's been revealed at this toy fair. Anyways, after about a half hour of deliberating, that's my thoughts on these guys. I'm very excited about all of the generation figures revealed in this toy fair. Really liking the looks at them. Think Hasbro's giving us some really cool stuff as far as the Generations Combiner Wars line, and I definitely plan on buying most, if not all of these guys. That's if I have the money and I can get them before they go out of stores and all of that. But anyways, you guys can leave your thoughts in the comment section below. What is your opinions overall of this toy fair? Are you excited about the figures that were revealed? Are you still not impressed by the direction of the recent figures? Maybe just really discouraged about some of the articulation issues and the paint app things, even though I think they've made up for them. Maybe you don't think they have. Which figures or figure in particular are you most excited about getting? And also let me know if you'd be interested in me covering the RID figures that were revealed at this toy fair. Now, I probably won't cover all of the stuff because a lot of it's like small flip and change stuff like that, and you guys kind of already know my opinions on that stuff, so I wouldn't want to deliberate on those too long. But if you would like to hear my thoughts on the Robots in Disguise figures, just let me know, along with any other ideas you have for videos pertaining to Transformers 5, these Generations figures, or the Generations line in general, or the upcoming Robots in Disguise cartoon. If you would like to hear my thoughts on more Generations topics or just general Transformers discussion topics, then you could check out my channel and my playlist. I have playlists for specific Transformers subjects if you're interested in that, and you can also check out my Transformers stop motion videos, which I also have a playlist for. Anyways, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and have a good one, guys.